What's up, guys? What am I gonna call myself today? GI Gauntz here, and I'm gonna go over my locals experience and the deck list I ran while I watched some YCS Vegas in the background. So, anyways, not much has changed from the last deck list, but I did make a last-minute adjustment before the tournament. So, anyways, we're still on 3 Xiamen. The searcher of the deck, I mean your one card starter. Search out Foxy Tune with Xiamen typically. So those are the only ones I played as a 3 of. And then I did 2 Ogre Dances, which is one of the cuts I made last minute, and that was to make room for another card I'll show you. And then the one ofs, Wagon, Deer Note, Charkusai, and Mud Spider. I'll go over this as well. It's changing because I noticed some weaknesses of the deck while I was playing in the tournament. Alright, those are the Punk monsters, Punk Spell and Trap. The extreme session that you search through Wagon. And I went with Dangerous Gabu because they're both good, but with a deck that eats life points the way it does, and this is a more grindy format. All my games almost went to time. Pretty much most games went to time. And this card comes in handy for that when you're going first, if you have enough time. So anyway, that's all the Punk stuff, and then we'll go into the Gold Pride stuff. Gold Pride, Captain Carry, ×3. Everyone should know these ratios if you're planning on playing Gold Pride. I mean, do 3 Leons, 2 Nitro Head. All of these can be special summoned when your life points are lower than your opponent's. Nitro Head's amazing for interruption against Kashtira, and also it's a level 8 that goes out pretty easily, and when you're in your later part of the game, bringing out a Nitro Head and one of your punks getting into Psychic and Punisher, he was the MVP of the day. That's why he's up front center for everybody to see, because usually I organize my extra deck by rarity, but I brought him out front because he just did so much work today. I almost want to get another one. So anyway, these are the Punk things. I've seen people cut this down to 1. However, the way I play this deck, I chose to leave it at 3, and I'll go over that if I remember to. Let's see. One of the other cuts I made, I cut Gold Pride Start Your Engine down to 1. Just because you can make the trap twice doesn't mean you should. I was thinking in my playtesting and hand testing, by the time I had to make the second one, the game should already be over. You should already have won by the time it's time to make the second one. So I cut it for space. And the cuts I made were to play 2 Kashtira Fenrir with 3 Unicorn, because Nibiru is coming back into the format, and Nibiru can destroy this deck and leave you on just your Gold Pride stuff. And or if they time it well, they just take everything out. So I played these so I would see my Kashtira stuff a lot more, and it came in handy. And I only got Nibiru once the whole time, and it was because I had no way to play around it because I didn't see these. So I'm going to come up with some more options to play around Nibiru in the future. So those 5 Kashtira monsters, I think I plan on keeping it this way, but I am making changes to this deck before I bring it back to locals. And then 1 Birth. Birth came in handy a lot. I even used its effect to, what does it do again? Oh yeah, banish 3 from the graveyard, which actually came in handy when I was playing either Sword Soul or whatever I was playing. I was playing Branded Eldritch. It came in handy for that. 3 E-Telly. It just doesn't make sense not to play it. Alright. 2 Small World. I don't have a third. I probably would play a third if I had it. Not sure though, because you don't always need to see it, but when you do, it's kind of cool because you can search a Lava Golem. You can search an Ash Blossom if you're going first and you just want another interruption. You can search any of your Gold Pride stuff. You can search any of your Punk stuff, depending on what you have in hand, which is typically going to be something. You can even search Div Incarnate, and then I play 2 Imperms and 2 Nibirus. Going forward, I'm going to put these into the side deck, they did not come up enough today. Anytime I had Nibiru in hand, I had already won the game. Basically, they couldn't even play through all the other stuff I had, or I had enough hand traps. I just happened to have the hand traps in hand to stop them before I even needed to use Nibiru. Also, Nibiru can conflict with your Kashtira stuff, so it's something to keep in mind. So that's why I'm thinking of putting it in the side deck. The Small World package did a lot of work this weekend. I basically, going second, search Lava Golem, drop Lava Golem on their board, because a lot of people don't do anything for small. Everyone views Small World kind of as a bad card. You neg 2 just to get 1 card, but in this deck, the Small World's so powerful, the card it searches, so they might be less likely to negate it, or you can bait it out. So I went up against some heavy negate boards, and what I would do is I just use all my P.U.N.K stuff, all my Gold Pride stuff, and I would just bait out all the interactions they had on board. I would then drop Small World, and then I would bridge it. I could use an extra P.U.N.K, then an Ash in the deck, and then get into Kurikara. There's a couple ways to get into Kurikara. And then I would just drop this, and I got it up to like 4,500 attack, and I even summoned a Baron out of their graveyard on it. That was during a Sword Soul matchup. So that is the main deck, and that is the Sword Soul, or the Small World package. I just wanted to discuss all the work it did. It is the side deck. So we went 3D Barrier, this Cyframe Gear Gamma package, a Lightning Storm, triple Tactics Thrust, and a Harpy's Feather Duster. 3 Spooky Dogwoods. I'll get in that in a minute. And then 2 Book of Eclipse, because I'm not currently too worried about Kashtira at this time. I have the Nibs, I have Book, I have Lava Golem, and I have like 1 or 2 people at my locals that play Cash, and I haven't run into them that much. And then I have Scarlight, Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend for time. The way this card was working out for you, if you do have to go second against a third, like going like second in time, basically, you go into your main phase and then get into your Deer Note and one of your level 3 tuners as quickly as possible without eating his life points. You have Dragon Archfiend, put it down on the field. Obviously, you contribute all their special summon monsters, but if you have your Gold Pride stuff, you can also play your Gold Pride stuff down, special summon that, and tribute it as well. Do about like 2,000 damage and win in time. This card, I think it's mandatory now, as long as these time rules exist, because it actually won me a game. I was in match 3 against a Sword Soul player, and I let them go first. It was my decision, and then I drew it, and as soon as he special summoned a monster, I just dropped this, and he kind of realized it was over at that point because time was called, and he couldn't. I mean, Sword Soul can do burn damage, but it couldn't do enough for what I gained. I gained like 2,800 off his 2,000 something off like a Vashuda, one of those dragon-looking things, even though they're worms technically. But yeah, this card did a lot of work. Another of the MVPs, and then you would think, you're just lucky to draw that going second. However, with Red Dragon Archfiend, not so much, because you can use this for time, and I always side this in. I always side it out for just something I'm not using, like usually the Earth Charmer, because I mean, he actually didn't come up at all. Never came up. So anyway, that's the side deck, and I probably should have done the extra deck first, but whatever. I'm just kind of doing it as I feel. So like I said, Psychic End Punisher was the MVP of the day. I got him up to like 11,500 at one point, and then attacked over like a 3k monster per game. Yeah, I got my life points down to 500, gained the 7,500, got him that way. He won me several games, and people were just a Dark World player left Muckraker out on the field, and I just went Psychic End Punisher, attacked over it. Pretty cool stuff. I did 2 Dragon Drives. I did 2 Amazing Dragons, because I was worried about Kashtira, which I'm no longer worried about, because when Kashtira sees your extra deck, they're typically going to cut like your Zeus's or your, if you play Axis Code, they're going to cut your Psychic End Punisher, they're going to cut out your Baron the Fleur. So I will be moving down to 1 copy of each and trying that out next time. Gold Pride Star Leon, Shangyang, Baron, Harbinger, didn't come up. This came up. Phantom Knight Breaksword, Down Nerd to Zeus. Very strong package. I would suggest always having room for it. And Ass Shuriken, this card sucks. I'm replacing it. I have a Levier Dragon on the way and a Cicada King on the way. So I'll be choosing which one of those to use. If you don't know, Cicada King was something, and someone in the YouTube comments recommended actually. I looked it up, and it basically does this, but it only takes 2 level 3s, so it's way more viable. And then Levier special summons when you're banished level 4 or lower monsters, so I ordered one of those immediately. And then Earth Charmer for like the Kashtira matchup, and then 1 Rising Carp. So my I played 6 rounds. We have a lot of people at our locals. We have 32 people. And my first round was against the winner of the whole tournament, the branded Eldritch player. Game 1, I built my whole board. He interacted with it a little bit. I negated everything, and then he just dropped evenly matched on me and passed. So then we were top decking, and that's when I noticed the first major weakness of my build. Once I've done my whole combo and you evenly match it, I really don't have much follow-up. So what I will be doing is I will be adding a second Deer Note to the deck. I think after my outing this weekend, I think it's mandatory to have a better follow-up match, because anytime it went to turn 3 of the game, I was like, well, I kind of don't have anything left. All my punks targets are in grave. I ended up top decking Kashtira Unicorn or something, but he had some 2 fusions on the board. I just could not get over them. So I ended up just scooping it up. Game 2, I got myself down to 500 life points and attacked over one of his fusions with Psychic End Punisher. Ended the game right there. Game 3, we went to time. He played the Dragon Fusey Boy that negates every time you activate a effect, you lose 600 points. So here's how it went down. I drew my normal punk stuff, and then I drew this. So he had branded Eldritch. He had all this back row. Harpy Feather dusted the back row, no problem, lose 600 life points. My understanding was that monster's effect going off, negating or taking my life points, allowed me to use this. However, it didn't, because if it had, I would have triple tactics thrusted, and I had Lightning Storm sided in the deck, and I would have just Lightning Stormed and gone in for game. However, it didn't work out that way. So while I was trying to figure out a way over his board, we went to time. He gave me a second to think, but I just couldn't think fast enough of a way to do enough damage, because I had damaged myself so much just outing that card. So he played it really well, obviously. I mean, he won. I think he won the whole tournament, so I lost game 1. And game 2, I played Plunder Patrol. He's a newer player, so he was just like coming back to the game. Went 2-0 with that. Basically, Psychic End Punisher won me both games. I even curry card his board at one point after I baited out all the interactions. So that was a good one. That was a 2-0. Then I moved on to, so I was 1-1. And then I moved to round 3. I played against Dark World, Danger Dark World. And pretty cool. He brought out that fusion card that it changes. Oh my god, my TV just got loud, sorry. So he brought out that card that changes your effect to discard one, and I tried to nib his board, and it didn't work, obviously, because he brought that down. I didn't think about that, but luckily I had an Ash as well, so I ended up just Psychic End Punishing my way out of that situation, won that game. Game 2, he goes first. I go, he sets up Fusey Boy with the whatever, change your effect to discard one, right? I play Zayaman, and he discards Neko Main King off the effect of the Fusey Boy, and I was like, oh cool, what does that do? He goes, your turn's over, and I was like, oh, alright, well then I guess I'll try and he's like, no, it's just over. And I was like, oh, neat. And despite that, I still won. So I won that 2-0, and I moved on to round 4. Round 4, I played Sword Soul. I can't really remember too much of the stuff that happened during the Sword Soul matchup. I do remember I dropped Div Incarnate on him at one point. I really had like a goated hand one time, and I think I even so I had like Imperm and Ash, and just kind of like negated everything, and then I went up against him with the Psychic and Punisher and just went in for game, and then that was in the second match. On the first one, he did win, I believe. The most notable one was round 3, when we went for time, and that was the person that I dropped the Dogwood on. I also did, going second against him, I sided in the Psyframe Gear Gamma. Anytime I sided, and I knew I was going second, I took out, basically, I took out one Fenrir, one or two, depending on the situation. I took out the trap, and then I took out this trap, and then I even took out Madame Spider, which I wasn't sure how I felt about that, because I still kind of wanted her as a target, but it's okay. So I ended up taking out these 4, and then I would just put these 4 in. And I ended up seeing it, and I ended up Psyframe Gear Gamming him. The way the interaction actually worked was he put a Baron on the field. So he had Baron on the field in defense position to play around Lightning Storm. Don't know how I figured out I was on that, but one copy of it. And then he played Taie, whatever, the one that brings out the token. So he summoned it, I impermed it, and then he Baroned the imperm, and then I gammaed the Baron, and that was it. And then I just went in for game, and then I went to round 5. Round 5 was the beginning of the end for me. I played a Sword Soul player who was just, I think he piloted the deck a little better, and I was a little less lucky that time. And I also made some misplays. While we were playing, I think he won game 1. The only thing I can really remember from that match is he had a Baron on the field, and he had a some kind of it was a Sword Soul that you discard a worm and negate an effect. And I just remember I was trying to bait that card out so hard, and he would not use the effect. And then I finally just gave up, and I dropped the Div Incarnate on him, and then attributing the Baron, so I got it up to 3,000. And then I played something else, but it got negated. And then on the end phase, I brought his Baron to my side of the field, and then he played Sword Soul Emergence, and this was in match 3, I believe, where it was for all the marbles. So I had 1 negate. He had 2 cards in hand. He played Sword Soul Emergence. I'm an idiot. I Baroned it, and he had Taie in hand, and that was basically it for me. I think that was game 2, because I actually lost in time to him game 3. One of the things that happened is I subbed in my Spooky Dogwoods, but I didn't see them, and he burned me with the Sword Soul stuff. Another thing that happened that was interesting was I also got unlucky against him because I sided in my Psyframe Gear Gamma, but I only drew this. So I drew that, and then I drew Small World. And so I was kind of at the end of my rope, and then I was like, Small World with this, and everyone was like kind of, that was watching the game was like, oh, what can you bring out with that? And I was like, I have no fucking clue, let's find out. So I actually realized he was a psychic, so I just used one of my, I think I ended up getting into, I think I realized I couldn't get into what I wanted, which was a Foxy Tune, because there was no psychic I could really rely on. So I think what I ended up doing in this situation was going Nibiru as the bridge, and then using Nibiru to get me to Zeaman, because they have the same defense. And oh yeah, that's exactly what I did, because one of the guys that was watching was like, Nibiru's a light, and I was like, yup, who knows, who knew? But anyway, so that was pretty interesting. Like, Small World, I just love it. I can't get over how much I love that card. But I ended up losing to the Sword Soul player. just based off, I kind of played bad, kind of was unlucky, and he really knew how to pilot that deck. So as opposed to me, who kind of just makes a lot of mistakes. So what was next? I played this guy. This was, if I had won this, I would have gone to top 8, because both of those guys were in top 8. And I played a guy who was on Tearlament with Sprite and Kashtira. So he ended up with this end board that was just insane. He brought out a Bahamut Shark, brought out a Totally Awesome with Bahamut Shark, and I drew 3 Zeaman and a Sharakusai. Like, I drew 3 Zeaman. How is that even? So, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I kind of interacted with his board a little bit, and then I was just like, I was just screwing around to see how far I could take it. Let's just move on to the next game. And then I think it was actually 3 Zeaman, Sharakusai, and one of my Kashtiras. All of it got negated, and even the stupid unicorn got destroyed, I'm pretty sure. So it's whatever. Tried my best, and in match 2 of that, I took it pretty far, but I think I lost there again. I mean, his deck was pretty insane, and I was just bricking. So the other notable thing I did, the Branded Eldritch player that played me after he beat me, he kind of acknowledged the Punk deck. He's like, "Oh, Punk's still a deck," and I was like, "It sure is." It put up a pretty good fight, and like I said, I lost a time against him. So I wish I had gotten to play Kashtira just to see how it would have worked out. But then again, I'm kind of glad I didn't get to play Kashtira, because I went 3-3 in the tournament. Just I didn't make it for top 8. I think I needed to be 4-2 for that to happen. So anyways, that was my locals experience. And then moving forward, what I'm doing with this deck, I think, is I'm taking out the Nibiru. I didn't get the value out of him that I was expecting. I'm going to keep the small world. So I'm taking out 2. Taking out these 2 Nibiru brings me down to 40 cards. This deck is now 40 cards. My plan is to bring it up to 45. Some things I noticed, Labyrinth and Trap Tricks are coming. Those are back row decks, and we need to be prepared for back row decks. And my side is a little too tight. So Nibiru, you'll be better in the side. I'm taking these out because I just want to play more board breaking kind of stuff in the side deck, as opposed to just simple hand traps. So basically my plan is to keep this. I'm planning on putting Book of Eclipse in the main, not because Kashtira is such a big threat, but just because this card is generally, like, it's a good going second card. So I'm considering playing this in the main. Obviously I'm keeping everything the way it is here. And then as far as back row removal, I don't have them right now. Apparently I traded them. But where is it? I plan on getting another Cosmic Cyclone and playing 2 Cosmic Cyclones along with, let's see. And then again, I might not even do this. I might not even do the Book of Eclipse. I'll just figure out the side deck. But here's the thing I'm thinking. Upstart Goblin with 2 Cyclones. Because Upstart Goblin, you draw a card, your Gold Pride stuff is online. So Cosmic Cyclone going second against trap decks, or just any deck that sets cards, which most decks set a card. You play Cosmic Cyclone, and automatically your Gold Pride stuff comes online. Also, creating a bigger difference in your life points is better for your Psychic End Punisher, because sometimes people build up big boards, but they leave these monsters in attack position, and they don't see the Psychic End Punisher coming with like 10,000 attack. I got it to 11,000. I attacked over a 3,000 monster for a game. Like, that's crazy. My favorite part is when they ask, "Is it permanent?" And I go, "Yes." It stacks. So that is what I'm thinking about doing. So yeah, just let me know what you guys are running in your punk builds. We have a Discord now. Got a couple guys in there, all going over their locals experiences and sharing deck lists. And I know the Therion build's a big thing. So if you want, the link will be in the description so you can join it and talk to us. I'm just trying to build like a little punk community. So as far as the main deck, that was the changes I was thinking about making. Just Upstart, Cosmic, and Cosmic, and then putting the Nibiru's in the side. The other thing, if I end up not messing with the Book of Eclipses, I was thinking about popping in like a token collector or two, maybe in the side deck. Most in the side deck for sure. Maybe one or two. Because not only is it an Earth, it's also a Fiend, so it is searchable off Small World. And if you do not see your Kashtiras, you can search this with Small World and play around Nibiru, because this can negate Nibiru, even though it resolves after. If Nibiru cannot summon its token, it can't summon, so it's a way to play around Nibiru. So these are the things I'm working with, and I'm just trying to fit it in here. I just want it all to fit nice and neat. And then my friend, the guy that was playing the Sword Soul, he actually debarriered me at one point, which forced me to try my XYZ plays. He ended up destroying my Phantom Knight, and I was just like, do you know how hard I worked trying to make that happen? So moving forward with the extra deck, this is the last thing I'm going to go over. I'm getting rid of Ass King. Harbinger, I'm going to hold on to him. Shengyang, he's a substitution for Baron. He doesn't also need to be in this extra deck. I got so little value out of him yesterday. And Earth Tremor, I think it's still viable to keep it in. So we're going to keep it in for now. We're going to get rid of one of our Amazing Dragons. We're going to get rid of our Dragon Drive. I might move this up to 2. Depends if I feel like buying one or not. I'm doing some remodeling around the house, so I'm not really trying to buy any Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now. But I am considering trying to start like a stream where I like hand test stuff on Dual Nexus or Dueling Book, but that is yet to be determined. So since I'm removing these 4 cards, actually that's not true. I was gonna remove something else, wasn't I? Oh yeah, Phantom Knight, Breaksword. Because I'm getting a Cicada King or a Levianther Dragon. I haven't decided which one. So I have 5 spots, and I'm thinking of playing a link package. Not only do I think IP Mask is so what's your end board? You usually, alright, I'll go over it real quick. So let me get my shit together real quick. So you're on Dragon Drive, you have let's pretend this is Sharakusai, until I find him. Oh, he's right there. So that's Sharakusai. And then you always have your Madame Spider on end board. And this is just assuming you get through your whole combo, and which I mostly did yesterday. I got through my combo a lot. So we have Madame Spider. Now what you do is, a lot of times I ended up drawing into either Leon, but optimally you want to either Small World into Captain Carry if you have the option, or you'll draw into Captain Carry or Small World, whatever. I mean, you draw 2 cards during your turn. It's pretty nice. Special summon her. She gets your trap. Gold Pride Trap. So you got the Gold Pride Trap. Now you have these 2 level 3s on board you don't need. You could synchro into Gold Pride Star Leon, but I think this would work out better. I think if you just go here, and then go into IP Mask. Also, if you have a Baron de Fleur on the board, which if you had your Castiera stuff, you'd have your Baron de Fleur on the board, or it would just work out that you're going on your opponent's turn, you do your bounce with the Dragon Drive. So you bounce with him. This is just one of the scenarios you could do it. It's just to, so you can go into IV Mask. So your Dragon Drive, it bounces stuff, you know. Preferably after they've wasted their normal summon, you go ahead and bounce it. Then, if they manage to get something else on board, obviously you have the negate. If you've used the negate, you can either choose to IP with this or this. So you just IP off with one of them, and then you make your Nightmare Unicorn. That's an additional bounce. And then if they get another monster on board, you go Gold Pride, start your engine, target it, and then you go. You pull out your 3 Gold Pride Leons and you go pick one, obviously, special summon that. And you've already used your Dragon Drive, you've already used that, so now you can use Gold Pride Leon's effect to bring back Captain Carry, and then quick effect to Synchro. And you quick effect Synchro into Gold Pride Star Leon. And you know Star Leon's effect, which targets monster, gains this attack, and then if your life points are lower, you destroy that monster. So this also destroys a monster too. So this is on the board, and then they still manage to summon. So that's just why I think the IP would be good. Also, since I do have my links back, you can link stuff. Well, obviously this goes away at the end of the turn, and then it brings out a Gold Star Leon, which brings back a Gold Pride Carry. That's when you would search your second trap. But like I said, then it's your turn. What do you need the trap for? You can activate it on your turn. That's nice. You can do the level 8 stuff, but I just don't know if it's worth the deck space. I'm conflicted. Like I said, there's so many things I want to do with this deck, and narrowing it all down is quite the conundrum for me right now. So like I said, don't be too worried about Kashtira banishing your engine cards, because really, if they're smart, they're gonna go for your broken Zeus or your Psychic End Punisher. This won me so many games. I cannot get over how much that won me. But I hope I was able to go over everything I planned on going over. I also said why I have 3 Leons is for that combo, because if you're not playing 3 Leons and you activate start your engines and you don't have carry on board, even if you do have carry on board, you're not guaranteed to get your Leon, which means you can't make the synchro on their turn. So that's why I think you should play 3 Leons, and then if he's dead in hand, you special summon him and use him with your Madame Spider to make IP Mask. Or you can make Cicada King, or you can make Levianther Dragon, but I wouldn't, because to use Levianther Dragon, you would need to use your field spell, which makes you banish a punk monster, special summon a punk monster. So you would have to banish one of your level 3 punk monsters to use Levianther's effect. Or you can use Gold Pride Carry, because when she goes to the graveyard, for the Synchro Summon of Leon, you can banish her and up to 3 punk monster or 3 Gold Pride monsters to give that thing 500 attack for each card you banish. So there's just a lot of options, and that is why I made the Discord, so that we can all go over all the options of this punk deck, because I want to see this thing topping YCS's, even though I'm not going to go do it myself. But if we can just all help each other dominate our locals with punk, I think that would be a really cool thing. I'm also I'm first a Pendulum player though, so if anyone's interested in Draco Slayer, I'll be working this week on trying to find a way to keep Draco Slayer in the game with Kashtira being a thing. So I'm working on that right now. If anyone's interested in any Pendulum decks, I also play DDD. I don't know what it is about. The reason I play Punk is because of DDD, because I used to play over the summer a DDD Punk mix with the Zombie Vampire and Chaotic Magical Dragon that I learned from this guy on YouTube called Jacked YGO. I would recommend him if you're into playing DDD. That's basically all he does, is play DDD and try to find ways to make it viable in today's meta format. So anyways, let me know, if you're into playing Punk and Gold Pride and stuff, join our Discord and talk to us. Remember, I don't do this for trying to become an actual YouTube guy. I just like to document my YouTube stuff, my Gundam model building, and anything else I feel like, and making videos about it is fun. So thank you for watching this, and give me your suggestions. I definitely am trying to keep this deck under 45 cards, but I want it to be able to deal with Sword Soul, Branded, Kashtira, some maybe Sprite, and Labyrinth and Trap Tricks. Those are the 6 decks to beat that I think are going to be big going forward. So I want to organize the side deck in a way. Obviously, D barrier. I mean, D barrier takes care of if you're going first, takes care of the XYZ summonings of Kashtira. It takes care of the fusion summons of Branded, and it takes care of the synchro summons of Sword Soul. It can do some stuff against Sprite, but Nibiru is more Sprite's alley because the new Sprite combo. People aren't making gigantic Sprite in time to play around Nibiru, from what I noticed. So that is an option. But anyway, let's just think of how we can beat the big decks as rogue players and together. So yeah, check out that Discord link in the description, and have a good day. Thanks for watching. I hope my legs aren't in this.